on, take off the tomato, or maybe we're putting on another tomato. But I certainly want to get right to the point over here. Right to the point. And the point is that overall, there's a lot of folks out there that are really trying to help things move forward. A lot of people. A lot of people you see, a lot of people you don't see. Some are in front, some are behind the scenes. You know what? It takes a lot of people to make something work. We've seen that time and time again all over the place, whether it be sports, right? How many people do you see playing sports? You're like, oh, wow, that's great what they could do. Why is it that they could do what they could do? Is because they have a God given talent. That's always a beautiful thing, but they have a team surrounding them. Or take a football as an example, right? We all know football. What about soccer? What about basketball? What about basketball? Who's the biggest point scorer? What do you think? They get the ball all the time? They're in control of the ball every which way? Hmm. They're getting the ball passed to them. They're the one that scores the points. They get the highlight. So, football player I've gotten to know, and I spoke to him, and he was on the defensive side, and he knew that being a defensive player, he was never going to be in the spotlight unless he screwed up. Then you're in the spotlight. But his role, if he did it properly, was to always be on the support side of it. Let's call him the back side of the of a restaurant, right? You got the front end and the back end. So he was on the other side of it. And that was fine for him because he knew that that's where he could excel. That's where he knew that he could add the most value to it. There's so many folks like that. And for those of you that are in the spotlight, whether you're a business owner, a sports player, whether you're out there promoting some nonprofit or something, you know that if you're the one that's got the limelight, there's a team behind you. And you really need to appreciate that team behind you. You also know that if you are that team behind that's making something happen, bravo to you. I'm going to say that right now. Bravo to you. Because you're the one, many times, are making it happen. The other person's just talking about it. I do a lot of talking. There's a lot of folks that do a lot of stuff that really are, the brains behind everything, that really are the operations behind everything, that really are the ones that make it happen. I'll give you an example. Sunday, I'm emceeing the walk for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. I had someone help prepare the script for me. I didn't write the script. They did. I put my own little thoughts into it, but I didn't write it. That event in and of itself, fantastic. I know it's going to be great. I know it is because I know the team that's behind there. Will I get a chance to talk about it on Sunday? Absolutely. Will I probably talk about it on Monday again? Yeah, absolutely. Did I make it happen? No, no. The operations team made it happen. The back end people made it happen. And that's really how it all happens. That's exactly how it all happens. So let's talk about other things in reality, right? We watch all these people on TV, radio personalities, and all the rest of that stuff. They're talking. Who's making it work? A lot of other folks. Who's making things really work and work well? A lot more people than those that are just talking about it. Now, it's great. Hey, Chris, afternoon to you. It's great when you get somebody that is a reporter, but is part of what's going on. Man, I've seen that on another event. We're going to try to separate everything. But Sherry Onward came out. I'll mention it. Let's go real specific on the whole thing. She came out to the racetrack, not street. She came out and she did a story on the junior dragsters, and the way she did it was great. And I'll explain why. The information was there, the junior dragster drivers were there, the photo op were there, everything like that. But she really wanted to know what it was like to be a part of the whole thing. So she got into one of the cars. Joanna Parise drove her down the dragster. But what was really special about it is that she didn't obviously she reported on the event, but she became part of the event. She became part of what was going on. She wanted to see what it was like to be a part of it, not just report on it, but to be a part of it. How many people do you know just talk about stuff, but are not really a part of it? And we can go in so many different ways on the whole thing, right? Politicians, elected officials, there's a big difference in there. Whether it be a council person, legislator, supervisor, or beyond. There are certain ones that are part of it, not just taking credit for it. And that's really what makes it the way it makes the whole thing truly, truly work. Now, here's the other side of it too, and this is really where I want to get right to it on the rest of it. Is that there is so many folks out there that are just not doing it. Yes, yakking and spitting out all kinds of negative information across the board all over the place. Well, I can tell you something. For those that are just spreading negative information for the sake of it to get headlines and the rest of that stuff, stop. Just stop. The vast majority of people want to see things move forward. The vast majority of people really want to make things better for the vast majority of people. That's what this whole thing's all about. That's what really makes this country great. That's what really makes our communities great. That's what really makes organizations great. That's what really makes companies great, is when the vast majority of people in a company. Is it everybody? It's never everybody. I don't care where it is, what it is, the rest of that stuff. It just is not. That's why companies fail. That's why partnerships blow up and all the rest of that kind of stuff. But when you can get the vast majority of people moving in the same direction, amazing things happen. Amazing things happen. Go back in history. Go back in history. Like we had anytime this country has gotten behind a cause, a really good cause, it's really worked out well. Uh, let's take sending a man on and sending a man to the moon. Wow, what an unbelievable challenge that was. How did that work? There's a few people that took credit for it. You got a couple of astronauts that made it to the moon, been up in the space shuttles, or in the rocket ships at the time. It was pre-space shuttle that done it. They got all the glory behind it, but they got because they were on TV, they were radio, they got all this that stuff. But how many thousands of people behind the scenes made that work? That's what I'm talking about. Those are really, it's all military folks say it, right? They come back, they call them heroes. True heroes are the ones that permanently on these battlefields. It's the people that are behind the scenes that really truly make it work. But we as a country got really behind the whole thing and made it happen. Right? World War II, I think another example. We really made it happen. And what's really great about a lot of things is the fact that those are really unbelievably successful outcomes that changed the way everything was. And one of the things I truly love about Long Island, besides the beaches, proximity to the city, and all the rest of that kind of stuff, is the fact so many things originated here. So many people made things happen here. There's been countless examples of why Grumman continues, to come up over here. You've got obviously the Calverton facility was a Grumman facility. Yeah, you've got the other facility over in Bethpage, Grumman facility, repurposed, reused, used in different ways. Some of it made into open space, especially out in Calverton. Some of it made into movie studios, over at Bethpage. Some of it up in the air as to where it's going. It's great. It's great on a going forward basis, but unbelievable what that company did, what those facilities did, what all of and many of the folks on Long Island did to make the Apollo space program what it is. Fascinating to move the building of jets and airplanes and warcraft, forward over here. What we were able to do at Long Island from a World War II standpoint, just amazing. what took place over here. And a lot of stuff we probably don't even know what took place over here. What about communication skills? Oh, that's my favorite, right? Absolutely my favorite. You ever go out to Rocky Point and ride around on the Rocky Point trails or the bicycle trails that are out there? Hmm? You ever see the wireless, the towers that were put up that had it in there? Wireless transmissions. I understand that the first wireless transmission was actually from Long Island. You want to speak to, or you want to learn a lot more about that whole thing? And I think that was Marconi on the tower. I'm not 100% sure there. But the Tesla Science Center, right here, Nicholas Tesla, not the car company Tesla. I'm talking about Nicholas Tesla. He had his facility out over here, and they're in the process of rebuilding that, making it into a true educational center. Phenomenal. Took place over here. Yeah, you thought I was going to talk about automobiles, but well, we can. I have done that. Let's talk about Nicholas Tesla. What a forward thinking or crazy individual, depending upon your point of view. He was. Let's go with forward looking. I think that's a lot more exciting. Really wanted to push forward the whole idea of electricity, transmitting electricity into different places. Fantastic. What does that mean? What could it mean? What if we learned from him, as we already have, but what if we take some of those ideas he had, might be a little bit radical, maybe it needs to be updated, changed, I don't know. Somebody needs to do the work behind the scenes to make that happen, and they will. So that team out there, and there's a very proactive team to get that Tesla Science Center continuing to move forward. Been driving past it every weekend for the past number of months, and it continues to grow. Different events that are taking place there. Watch that one. So it's not just what Grumman was; it's what Nikola Tesla was. It's what these other electronic and communications company were. Automobile industry, racing, forward-looking, great stuff. Technology, fantastic stuff. It's all here. Manufacturing. Manufacturing? Yeah, manufacturing on Long Island is great stuff. They're looking for creative people to get into manufacturing. Creative. There's an event that's coming up this Thursday. I'll talk about it next week. We'll get there, but it's open to educations with Allendale Machinery. It's in Bohemia. They have one day set aside for the educational community, the entire educational community. Ron Loveland, the HIA group, they're going to be there. Ron's on the panel. John Lombardo is on the panel. Many other people are on the panel over there. And what they're going to be talking about is all forward looking. It's great stuff. My media friends, open to you. I will be reaching out to a few of you. And I spoke to them about seeing if we get the media coverage on there. Be great. Not the cover of business, not even just to cover an industry, but it's to cover the thing that's most important to all of us, and that is forward looking. I used to call this program forward looking business ideas, right? About how we need to see things that we need to move into and change and adapt to. I got this thing started because of COVID. A little over 2.5 years we're doing it now. I got it started because of COVID because it was information that needed to be known about COVID, how to deal with it, especially if you were a public facing company, but even the manufacturers, how to redo their workforce and work schedule to make things work, and how they've adapted and changed and made the whole thing go. But that's all about success, is it not? Somebody had to have an idea at these restaurants about how to go and make it more of a delivery restaurant where people pick up their food and go. Cafe Spiga was unbelievable when it came to that. The guy was unbelievably proactive when it came to that. He had to sit down at a restaurant, pizza place. Started making meals that were to go, really, really to go meals, not just prepared hot meals to go, but he was preparing it, cooking it, getting it most of the way there, and you would be able to take it home, put it in your freezer, and then cook it the rest of the way. I mean, it was, great. Or reheating it, great stuff. That guy was super proactive. That was good. And that's the key to it all. It's being proactive. It's about moving forward. It's about having that and using that. So where is it all come together? All of that stuff. When Kennedy said, hey, we need to put a man on the moon, did he have the knowledge to back that up? I'd guess not. Did he know where to get the knowledge to get that? I guess so. Tapped into NASA to do that. And then they figured it out. Then they worked on getting people there, to make things work, to figure out how to do that. How do you do that? Never did anything like that before. Never did anything close to that before. Kind of makes getting somebody on Mars easier because we've kind of gone into outer space now. Some of the missions have been incredible. The James Webb telescope is just amazing photos, that have come back. That's absolutely incredible. But somebody had to come up with that crazy idea. It's like, hey, let's send a telescope millions or billions of miles away to take photos, collect data. Why? My guess is another generation from now, somebody's going to go back and take a look and really come up with the idea of why. Why is it that we need to know what's so far out there? Is it just the creation of Earth, how we began? Or maybe it's additional space travel. Maybe I'll get a little closer to Star Trek. But the point is, we need people who can think. We need people who can think just as much as we need people that are on the back end of things. We need people, again, we'll use the restaurant story as the one. We need people that could come up with a menu that's appropriate for the restaurant based upon the location, decor, the style, the setup, and everything like that. But we actually need someone to make those dishes. And we need people to make those dishes that are really good at making those dishes, that can make those dishes special. So it's not just spaghetti on a plate, but it's spaghetti that's made and tasty and different and unique for that restaurant. That's what makes that restaurant special. That's the brand of that restaurant. That whole thing, that whole package. You don't think companies are in the same business as the brand of that company about making it special? Oh, absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. And those companies, what they need, it's not just employees. It's not just people who work there. It's not even just people who push buttons. That was explained to me. Had a visit with Suffolk Community College, and it was talking about the machinery that they have over there. Great machinery. What does it do? Well, it was explained to me what it does, and what is the the benefit of that machine and the benefit of those products and stuff like that. You know where that all comes from? Not just from the person who's putting the raw material into the machine, not just from the person who's operating the machine, but it's from that person that's behind the scenes, that's sitting here and thinking about what is the true potential of taking a piece of raw material and making it into something different, something better, something more unique, something faster, something quicker, something lighter, something more effective, something that is different than anything we've ever seen before. That, my friends, could very well be that 5-year-old that's in kindergarten. Maybe it is that 6, 7, 8-year-old that's getting involved with some sport that's different than other things. Maybe it is that 8, 10, 12-year-old that joins one of the football programs, soccer programs, baseball programs, that turns out maybe not to be the greatest player in the world, but really studies the game and understands it and understands what needs to be done in order to improve the players by just a little bit. There was a baseball player that I had interviewed a long time ago, and his own admission, and I was really questioning, it's like his longevity was huge. And then to his own admission, he said, look, I was never the best baseball player. And it was professional league he played. I wasn't the best person. But what he did was really studied the game. He studied the players. He studied the weaknesses, the strengths of the people that he was going to be playing against. So when he got up to bat, he knew more than, we'll say, the other average players that were out there. Maybe he had less confidence or more a better understanding of his own ability, of his own shortcoming, that he took the what he lacked in, let's say, physical strength to hit that home run. But he was able to use his knowledgeable strength in order to get on base more times than not. Maybe he never got the home runs, but he got on base more times than not. And maybe that home run play was behind him a lot. Perhaps the manager saw that. Now you're not getting one run, you're getting two runs when that happens. That's strategic. That's thinking. That's what's needed. That was needed to keep his career going for as long as possible. That's what's needed to keep businesses, restaurants, other establishments going as best as they possibly can for as long as they possibly can to grow as much as they can. And where does all of that come from? It doesn't come from me. Maybe it doesn't come from you. Hope it does. But it comes from the generations to follow. They're the ones who are going to push us forward. And that, my friend, is the point of everything. It's the point of everything. It's why I really feel so emphatic about the fact that we need to take our careers, our strengths, perhaps our shortcomings, what it is we wanted to do, what it is we didn't do, and explain that to students, not to tell them what they should do. Definitely not. But to give them the thinking, give them the knowledge, give them the motivation for them to take a good hard look at what it is that their natural abilities are, that their natural abilities are not, where their interests lie, where their family has maybe a history in something that they could tap into that resource. And if they don't have that, where they could go to find the resources they need in order for them to pursue an interest that's just a standalone interest, but they don't have anybody that they could talk to. But to talk about these other organizations that are out there, maybe give internships, maybe coordinate or know of an internship with somebody that they could go and learn something from the inside out, just like that reporter did. Learned it from the inside out. And that was absolutely one of the things that I find to be most fascinating about some of the projects that I've gotten involved with. It's just not what I think is, but what they think is, and understanding what those needs are and understanding what they're going through. It's called living in somebody else's shoes, for a while. We're talking about communication skills. We're talking about making a good presentation in front of a group of people. If you're a professional speaker, first thing you're going to do is you're going to learn and understand what the need of that audience is beforehand. Speak to the person who hired you as a speaker. Speak to the executives over at the company. What are you really trying to accomplish at this meeting, at this conference, during that presentation? And then speak to some of the folks in the audience, not exactly, not when the speech is going on, but beforehand. Get that inside knowledge because that'll make you a better speaker. That'll make you a better reporter. That'll make you a business owner too, but understanding what the needs of your customers are, what the needs of your fellow employees are, your crew members. If we can instill that bit of knowledge into those of our students that are in school today, for them to see what it is that they're really good at doing and to see what other people that are doing things can be a resource to them, man, that's going to be a rather motivated workforce. That's going to be an incredibly talented workforce. And that's going to be an incredible team to make anything happen. Anything happen. Because everything really is possible when you get the right people together. So all this stuff we're talking about, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that, that's crud. We can do it. We can do a whole lot of things. We just need those people that perhaps not in the limelight. We need those people that are behind the scenes to make it happen. So if you are one of those people that are behind the scenes, I'd like to personally thank you for doing what you do, because you're helping things move forward. You are making things move forward. If you want to get a little bit more in front and speak to these students, speak to media, get yourself on different podcast shows where you talk about the whole idea that vocational programs in high schools and colleges are a good idea, well, by all means, let me know. You get the opportunity to work with a company like CEO Inc., Career Employment Options, that does these high school career days, or you want to speak to the guidance counselors at your son, daughter's high school, elementary school, anything like that, you can get involved in those things. By all means, do that. Don't tell the students what they should do. Tell the students what maybe had guided you to your place, to your success, and suggest to those students that they take a look at themselves and see what it is that they really want to do. That is the key to success. Finding out what letting them know, letting them see what the process is for them to go figure out what it is that they really should be doing, and then let it go from there. It'll definitely work. It'll definitely be great. And it's great to see these, students, and their eyes light up with possibilities. You know, my the one that I found to be the most fascinating, it was a career day I did for fourth grade students. Fourth grade students. And this one young man said that he wanted to be a football player. All good. But that one young man also said, should that not work? Had my attention on that one. Fourth grade student. And he already had a backup plan. Don't look at that one as a negative. Look at that as a positive. He said, if that doesn't work, I want to be a sports announcer. Wow. How many people become successful football players? Not that many. How many people become successful sports announcers? A lot more than the people playing. And then the whole idea of being involved with that microphone and announcing sports, so many opportunities. And it may take him a long time to get to that point. But if he understands that game from the inside out because he plays, and then he gets on that microphone and announces, he's going to be a superstar. And we need those superstars just as much as we need everything else that goes along with it. And it's understanding it from the inside out, stepping into somebody else's shoes and growing from there and talking about it from there. That's it. Step inside the shoes of a fourth grader. Step inside the shoes of a sixth and eighth, 10th, 12th grader. Do those career days and let them know that they can figure out what it is that they should be doing for a career, for a lifestyle going forward, and they will achieve success in a big way. And I know you'll do that because you do. Speak well, you speak often, and you live inspired. And that will and does inspire others to do exactly the same thing. Absolutely. All right, look, we are out of here. Have a great weekend, big weekend. We'll talk about it next week, but really excited to be a part of so many of these things, and me getting a chance to talk about it and share that stuff with you. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see some of you on Saturday. We'll see others of you on Sunday, and we'll see everybody again on Monday as we come back with another version of Tomato Talk. Mr. King, good afternoon to you, my friend. Chris, see you Saturday. Doug, we'll see you soon. All good, my friends. All right, let's go. A little music as we work our way out of here. There you go.